Guys, Brian here from Liquid Concepts. Going to give you all a new video today. We've been seeing a lot of people to where they will call us, they're having problems with their activator, having it set up right, things like that. So we want to try to go over a few of those things, give you all a good idea on how to spray the activator, how high it needs to be above the water, your PSI, everything like that. So hopefully y'all enjoy this video and it'll be really informative on how to spray our activator. So we've got our activator here. We've also got the activator in the can here, and kind of give you a quick overview of what we've got. For the gun itself, the gun is actually a SATA. We have them in our lineup as far as the clears and the paint guns go, and we really like them really a lot. So this is actually SATA's version of a primer gun. It works really well on the activator, so we figured it'd be a great setup for having an activator gun. So this is the SATA Jet 100BF HVLP. What we did on this is we went ahead and took the tip down. We now have a 1.4 tip on it, and you know, personally, everybody's got their own opinion on it, but personally, I like a 1.4 tip. I like the smaller tips on it, so that way essentially you can spray it. It's not just a one-shot deal. I personally like to have the ability to adjust just that little bit on maybe spraying one pass. Okay, it needs a little bit more. We'll spray one more quick pass on it. It's good to go. Other people, of course, like the idea of having a 1.8 to where they can essentially just spray one pass. Everything's good. You could definitely do either or, strictly up to you. Personally, this is just what I like, so this is what we use. I'm gonna go ahead and put some film here on the water for y'all and kind of go over some more on the gun. So we got the SATA 100BF. As far as the air pressure goes, we've got about 75 coming into the gun. Got our filter here to keep out all the water and everything, just as a precautionary method. Plus, we also still have, of course, our desiccant filter that's down there by the air compressor as well. So on the air pressure, we've got it just spraying just a little bit, not very much at all. As you can tell, whenever we go to spray it on the water, you can kind of tell it's just barely making the water ripple. Essentially what you want to do is dial it down probably around 8-10 psi, something like that, something to where it's just barely above that water. The other thing is you'll notice that whenever I'm spraying it about this high above the water. You're going to be about 6-8 inches or so above that water to get the really good results and really see all of that. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to lay another piece in here just to kind of give y'all a quick overview of some differences in it. And we'll set this up here right quick, get a glove on, and I'll kind of give y'all a good idea on spraying the activator. So again, as I was saying, you want to keep it pretty low PSI. You want to make maybe 2 passes, something like that right there, and we'll kind of see how this goes. So spray our activator just like that. As you can see, whenever you see across the reflection, it's nice and glossy, and as you'll see, whenever I go to dip my hand down into this film pattern, you can see it's really stretching very nicely all the way through. So as I pull it back out, you can tell that the pattern stayed really nice and crisp all the way up through the entire dip. Even stretching that much, it's still got a lot of the color, a lot of everything in there. Now this is actually one of our patterns that we just now got. It's the SAN 407. So turn that off there. It's a really great pattern to work with. So that was showing you how to spray it with the correct activator, showing you how high and everything like that above the water. So we're going to take, and now that we got our other film laying on the water, we're going to go ahead and spray this a little bit higher, and you're going to see some pretty crazy results just by changing how high you spray it above the water. So as you'll see here, I'm up a little bit higher above the water, and I am literally just going to just hammer this activator down like that. And now granted, I don't normally recommend doing that, but just for the video, it'll kind of give you a really good idea on it. So essentially, you can tell just from the reflection of it, that's a lot of activator. But you can tell that it's still not quite activated enough. So as we go ahead and we dip our hand down in this, you can tell that as you're going down in the water, that pattern just is not looking the same. So pull it back out, and of course, as you can see, it's all blotched up. It's not really liquefied, and you know, it's of course not going to be a good dip. And it's funny because just from going right here about 6-8 inches above the water to maybe 12 inches above the water, 14, something like that, just that little bit of distance makes a huge difference. As y'all saw, we literally just fogged it on there. The other thing is to kind of realize is that if you're up this high and you're spraying that film and you're spraying the activator on that water, what's happening is that activator is actually coming down and it's just laying out, all right? So whenever you're spraying it up here, all that activator is doing is hitting that film and it's just going right out into the overspray. Versus whenever we dipped over here, we were close enough to the water that we got that activator on that pattern, and essentially whenever we did that, you notice that there was almost no overspray. There was almost nothing. Versus over here, we fogged it on like crazy and it still wasn't enough. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea on the two differences between spraying it the correct way and spraying it just a little bit higher, same PSI, same everything, but we was just a little bit higher. Now, I know I didn't touch on some of the gun setup a little bit, but essentially what we have here for our gun, before I was kind of interrupted with having to spray there, for our needle, we have it pulled back probably 2 to 3 turns back. Essentially, whenever you pull that trigger, you want a good flow coming out of it. You don't want a whole bunch, but just a nice, good, even flow on it. As far as our fan goes, what we have here is we just got it wide open, and essentially something set up like that, that's going to give you, as you can tell, really good results out of it. Now, I've showed you pretty much what it looks like with good activator. You got one pass, you got it really nice and good. Showed you another thing where we sprayed 10 times as much and it still wasn't enough, only because of the height above the water. Now, we had dipped these a little bit earlier, and I'm going to show you all the differences in these two. The one in my right hand here, which would be on your left, that is actually too much activator. As you can tell from some of the colors and everything in the actual print itself, it's one of those where it's there, but it's still faded. It just doesn't quite look right. Versus if you look at my left, which is on your right here, you'll see that the pattern looks so much better. It's more crisp image, it looks better, and then whenever you put these things side by side, just like this, you can essentially see the difference between just enough activator and just too much activator. So again, you know, spraying the activator, it's a real critical part in showing, you know, what a good dip's gonna look like and not having it turn out. As you can tell, with just not quite enough activator, it's just gonna blotch up like that. You're gonna get a lot of the parts to look identical to what we had on that second dip. So hopefully that helps y'all out, and hopefully you'll kind of get an idea and a good understanding of the way that we spray our activator, and hopefully it really helps you guys out. So till next time, we'll see you guys later.